Before we get into back into your story with the whole end of the week, you did have a couple of more, bad boy stories you wanted
Yeah.
to share with the people. So I feel like that would be a great place to start.
Okay, so the first one I want to do is the Godzilla soundtrack one, right?
Whoa, the
So,
Kashmir song?
no, 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 no. The was it? Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
it's the
exactly.
the because it's
Yes, it
the
was.
fucking Led Zeppelin track.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, who's the drummer for Led Zeppelin?
I don't remember. I know I'm supposed to know it. I don't know it.
I know. I'm
Jimmy
sorry.
Page,
There you
right?
go. Thank you, Jimmy Page. Yo, met him in the studio during the filming when they were making the song. So I just want to tell you how crazy it was to do that song. Now I actually opted out on it. They asked me to assist on it. I was like, nah, I'd rather engineer other stuff like Jimmy Lee to be the assistant. And he was stuck on it for like a month and a half, like almost every day going in there. And I remember one day bumping into him and being like, yo, how's that going? He's like, how's it going? And he shows me a DAT, right? And it has a list of all the versions on it. And yo, it was on like 200 mix, 218 version 3 dash A, and then it would have like a little thing in parentheses, like bell in the middle of a song down lower. So like, yo, they literally went through a massive amount. This is like the Michael Jackson thing, because Michael Jackson would do like 120 tracks just on the music, but on one track would be the triangle that only comes in once 10 seconds into the song, but you got to mix that by itself and make sure it's right and mixed right into the song. So I see where Puff was going with it, but I was so glad I opted out because it was crazy. But when Jimmy Page came in, it was to redo the drums on the song, and he was gonna play it live. So I'm like, oh, I gotta see this. You know what I mean? Like, so I go into the room, and they're like, could you help us set everything up? I'm like, oh, bet. And yo, no lie, dude, they put the drum set all the way to the back of the studio. This is just like a great trick, you know what I mean, for anybody that's recording live drums. So he puts the kick down, right? And they build like a box over the kick. And then it goes straight out all the way to the front of the studio. And they draped it like with the packing blankets. So they created this whole contraption, and then they put a microphone like every, I'm gonna say 3 feet all the way to the end, so that when he's doing the kick, you would have the hard kick in the front, but then it'd be a little softer in the middle, real soft at the very end. You know what I mean? But now you had different versions of the kick that you can mix together to create mood. So you know how a person would hit the kick and then just tap it lightly so it's a little bit lighter. Instead of having to do that, you could just go to the third microphone down the line and be like, that's the soft kick of the version of the kick. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I was amazed by it when I saw it, and I was like, yo, these dudes are geniuses. Like, and that's really, I think that's some old school like way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? But just to learn that trick alone, I was like, this is great.
I mean,
And so I just wanted to mention that one and the extensiveness of making a song like that. Like Puff put a lot into it. You know what I mean? He was actually on tour at the time, and Sony gave him their private jet. And he would literally go on this tour, perform, fly back to the studio just to listen to whatever version it was, or if anything got added, give his little feedback, go hang out, get back on the plane, go to wherever the next stop was, get ready to perform again. So,
yo, that is a crazy ethic. It makes sense that Puff is doing as well as he's doing today. Hearing like that kind of level of dedication to that track and whatnot, especially because it's a big opportunity to be in the Godzilla. But yo, thanks for starting us off with that heavy knowledge nugget. The one thing I know about bands is that drums is the most expensive thing in the world, and it's what really adds all the cost to recording. So just sharing that is such a cool fucking tidbit to start us off. So thank you for that, man. I appreciate it a lot. You still with us? It froze up again.
Yeah, we good. It's back. I'm
All right,
gonna
cool.
just use my hotspot now because the internet is getting crazy over here.
No worries. We got you. So yeah. What's the other stories that you wanted to share about Bad Boy? I think
Okay, so all right, so you want to hear Locks and New Edition or DMX?
both, but whichever. Let's start with
Oh,
Locks.
I was just saying which one first. I'm gonna tell both.
So I'm the kind of guy that likes to save the best for last, and DMX is like I'm a 12-year-old white boy when he pops. So like this
Good.
shit is
All
my
right, cool.
jam.
So we'll start with Locks.
Locks.
And New Edition. So New Edition is coming in to do their song. Puff is had just gotten, I think, 3 songs to do on their new album, and it was like the reunion one. So Johnny Gill and Ralph Tresvant were both on it, and the Locks come in and they're dumb excited, yo. And they sit me down and they're like, "Listen, you're gonna record their rhymes on the rhyming piece of this song on the New Edition joint." So I'm like, "Oh snap, like y'all are rhyming on the New Edition shit." They was dumb hyped. So it's Styles and Jadakiss in there, and they're doing one of their back and forth type rhyme joints, writing it together. So I remember like them being, first of all, stupid excited, and then it's like they started it off with "LO expertise, please, you ain't got no rhymes like these," and it's like, yo, it was hot. I was like, oh snap, this is gonna be dope. So I go and I record them doing it. Then it's like maybe a half hour after we record it, we cycling the thing, man. Like just keep listening to it. They excited, and then New Edition shows up. So they walk in the room, introduce themselves to everybody. I'm like, oh, that's what's up. Then one of them turns to Jada and Styles and is like, yo, could you write down the rhymes for us? And he was like, what? He was like, yo, and I was like, then I realized like, oh snap, I don't think this song is meant for them to rhyme on it. It's probably you've been writing for them to actually spit the rhymes. And I was like, oh snap. So I'm like, no, they don't write it down. I was like, that's my job. You know what I mean? Like, because I didn't want to add insult to injury. I was like, yo, I got it. I'll write it out for y'all, etc. Puff walks in. He's like, yo, that LOX expertise, you got to change that to NE expertise, like for New Edition. You know what I mean? And it was like, okay, bet. And it's like they was hurt, dude. Like we did the whole session. They came in, they respit everything, and then left. And then these two dudes are sitting in the chairs like, yo, ain't nobody gonna believe that we wrote this shit, you know what I mean, and got it on the album and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it on a CD for you. Like I'm gonna burn it with your vocals on it so that people know that you wrote that shit. And I'll give you a cassette too. But like, don't tell nobody, bro. Like, but I'm gonna look you out. Yo, they was dumb happy. Like, yo, thank you. Like, yeah, now niggas in the hood ain't gonna be like, I ain't write this shit. They gonna know. I was like, word, like I got you. You know what I mean? But I always found that one interesting because on the back end, they got like 15 grand for writing it. You know what I'm saying? As a check. So I was like, that's not bad, dude. Like, I'm with that. I'll write a 16 for anybody for 15 grand. Like, what you want? 10 different versions? I got you, son. Like, got you. You know what I mean? So I always like that one.
That's incredible.
Now we get to DMX. So just so you know, DMX, great artist, but I wasn't a fan at the very beginning. You know what I mean? So they're doing 24 Hours to Live. This is the Black Rob song. You know what I mean? Everybody's on it. Mace, the Locks. It's a freaking incredible song. DMX is the one that ends it off. So they're all in the room with me cycling the beat, you know what I mean? And they're writing to it. Another engineer comes in to record everybody. So we in the room, and this is a long process because there's so many people on it. But I remember them finishing it, and Puff walks in. So Puff is like, yo, let me hear the song. Boom, we start playing it, and I love that song. So everybody's verse is going, boom, I'm bopping my head all hard, and then it gets to DMX's part. I didn't like DMX's part. I always was like, yo, he seemed a little mad, angry, like a little overly aggressive, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't digging it. But it comes up, and I stop bopping my head, like, okay, like, you know, it's all good. I'm not bopping as hard as I was, but I'm like, yeah, the beat is hot. So we go through it. The song ends, and Puff is looking at me the whole time. It stops, and then he goes, looks around the room, and he goes, Rashid. I was like, yeah? He was like, what do you think of that last verse? I was like, oh, like, you're an asshole. Like, yo, I don't like it. But I'm going to be honest with him. He knows how I do. So I was like, yo, I didn't really like it. And he was like, yo, I need you to write that over. And then he walks out the room. So now, you know, everybody in the room is like, yo, none, what the fuck, dude? Like, blah, blah, blah. And yo, give it to DMX. This is why I always will have love for him. He's like, yo, stop. Everybody stop. I'll just write it over. It's okay. Like, I got it. And he started writing another one. And that's the one that made it to the record. But I always looked at it as like a turning point because that's when he was unsigned at that time. So they're trying to convince Puff that, yo, you should sign this dude. Like, he's the one out of all of us. Rough Riders, this is the one. You know what I mean? And Puff, like myself, wasn't really digging the whole, you know, being aggressive and shit on tracks. So me agreeing with him, I think saved him from even thinking of signing him. At that point, I think that shit got dropped to the wayside. So I always said, like, if I wouldn't have said that, maybe he would have ended up signing him, and that would have totally ruined DMX's career because he don't even like him like that. You understand what I'm saying? But instead, he ended up on Def Jam, made a whole bunch of hits, and the shit is amazing. But I do want to add this as a part of the story. So the time that I actually really appreciated DMX was I was working for Dream Hire, and there's this dude named Dax, and he works at Hammerstein Ballroom. So he was doing what was supposed to be his last performance at Hammerstein. So me and my buddy Sinclair was like, yo, we gotta go. I think Calabras was with us too. And we're like, my man Dax is like, yo, it's amazing here. Like, you ain't gotta pay for no tickets. I'ma sneak you up into the spot. You know what I'm saying? And we was like, bet. And yo, no lie, yo. We go inside of this building and we're like totally on the other side. My man literally opens up a door that like maybe I could fit through, like going straight in. But really, you had to turn to the side to really maneuver. And yo, it's like a trick door, but yo, we went through, opens up, we go through, open up the door. We right by the VIP bar upstairs. You know what I'm saying? You just walk out of the room and it's in the middle of the concert and all this. But that's where I gained my appreciation for him and his music. I already liked a few songs he had, but seeing him perform live, I was like, yo, I'm looking for the dude doing the ad-libs. Like, yo, where's the other nigga with the mic? Like, what's going on? And Sinclair's like, yo, that's fucking DMX. He's doing the ad-libs while he's rhyming. I was like, yo, that's impossible. But then I'm looking and I'm like, yo, this nigga's right. Like, yo, that's amazing to me, yo. And I know, like, when you listen, because I've done this before, you'll have trouble with a rhyme, but once you put it down and you hear it, you're, like, able to execute it because you've heard yourself doing it. And I think that's what he was one of his skills, because he definitely was hitting all the ad-libs, kept rhyming, and you could understand every word he was saying. And I was like, damn, I'm fucking up. Like, this dude's a mad professional, and I'm sitting here like, he's okay. You know what I mean? So I had to reestablish it. I definitely revisited some albums. and gain my appreciation for DMX.